We are going to continue on page Kuf Ayin Tet Amud Bet 179b. We were talking yesterday a little bit about the Yetzer Tov, Yetzer Hara, how the Yetzer Hara comes into the body the second the person is born, versus the Yetzer Tov that comes when you're 13. And we took a verse from the book of Kohelet talking about better to be a poor but wise child than an old and foolish king. How basically saying, in other words, better to listen to the Yetzer Tov and not to listen to the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara is always going to trick you, take you to the wrong places. So now we're just going to continue where we left off. And it says, Ta chazi, come and see, al da akdim im barnash b'yom adit yalid. Therefore, the Yetzer Hara comes to the person, to become attached to the person from the day he was born. Begin the hemile. Why? So the person will believe him. And, it says that the babies, that they see angels. But especially, they see a certain angel, I don't know if to call her an angel, but she sees the wife of the Samech Mem, Lamed Yud Lamed Yutach. She comes to the cradles and she reveals herself in a nice looking, like a Snow White look with a smile. And then you see the babies, and she wants the baby to be familiar with her. When she comes, when he's 15, 16,
both male and female?
Yeah. For the male, so she can make them sin. For the females, that they will go and sin. And Lamed Yud Lamed Yutaf, she comes to the cradles. That's why I'm sure you saw different Hasidic groups. They put all sorts of different, I don't know if to call it pictures, but Shira Malot, all sorts of different writings of Kabbalah. I don't want to say Kmeot, because it's not really a Kamea. But nevertheless, you see that they're hanging all sorts of things, so to scare her away. But nevertheless, the Yetzer Hara comes to the child when he's born, so the child is familiar with his friend and will believe him. Other than that, why would you believe the Yetzer Hara when he comes and tells you steal? Yeah, but my mommy told me it's not good to steal. Listen to your mommy. Go and steal. So he says the Yetzer Hara comes to the child right when he was born. Why? So he will believe him. Later on, when the Yetzer Tov comes to the human, to the person, then you don't believe him. You don't want to believe the Yetzer Tov. And then when the Yetzer Tov comes and tells you, be honest, be courteous and polite, and it looks like too much to do. Shall you want me to be honest? It's hard to be honest. Why? I'm just saying honest. It's anything. I'm just throwing one thing that the Yetzer Tov will tell you to be, and it looks to you like a burden. Why? Because the person is already used to the Yetzer Hara. And the Yetzer Hara tells him, do whatever you want. You have a free pass. You can eat whatever you want, drink whatever you want, lie whenever you want, steal whatever you want. Totally fine. I lie. On me. It's okay. So once the Yetzer Tov comes and says to the person, stop stealing, yeah, but the other guy tells me it's fine to steal. So the Yetzer Hara comes much earlier, so then later on you believe him. We have learned something similar to what we just said in the Talmud, in Tractate Sota, page 21. Man hu rasharum, who is called a wicked person and naked. Da hu man de'akdim le'atana, miloi le'kamei daina, ad la yeter chavrei, marei dedina. Who is this wicked person that is called naked? This is the one who comes first to come and say his things in front of the judge before the other person that he's suing coming to go and protect himself. I'm sure you've seen that in a school, that boy number one gets in trouble with boy number two, Boy number one runs quickly to the teacher and starts saying all sorts of bad things on boys number two. He did this to me, this to me. By the time boy number two comes, the teacher says, I already heard you've been a bad boy. I didn't do anything. But he already came 5 minutes before you to come and talk against you. You see that a lot in our generation. When somebody is guilty of something, then he'll go and throw everything that he does on somebody else, so the guilt, the heat will get off him. He's the thief. He's the liar. He did. So the same thing here it says, who's the person that is called a wicked person and naked? The one who comes first in front of the judge. If you are an honest person, you don't run to the judge and you say, okay, let's go together to the judge, and we both talk in front of the judge. Where do we, Kamadat Amar, as we have already said, Tzadik Harishon Beribo. This is a verse from the book of Mishlei, and it says the Tzadik, the righteous person, is the first Beribo, the one who, the first when it comes to a fighting. So, what does that mean? That means that if I have a disagreement with you, then I'm saying, listen, I'm not going here against you. We just have a disagreement. That's a normal thing. Every person has a disagreement. A tzaddik doesn't go and says, okay, I'm going to now go and badmouth you all over the city. I'm not going to go now and slander you all over the city. Let's go to a dayan, let's go to a judge, and let's work it out amicably. Right? That's what the tzaddik does. That's what it says in the book of Mishlei. Tzaddik harishon berivo. You are a tzaddik, you have a disagreement, so you're the first one who says, let's work it out. I'm not here to fight with you. But the Rasha right away will say, I don't want to know, I'm going to get to the Beit Din, and I found guilty. Let me go and trash this person's name all over the town, and then now we'll see how he fights with me. So he says, why the tzaddik is the first one who wants to work it out? כי יוכל להתאים דבריו ולהכניסם בלב השומע, הואיל ולא אמר מי בחלוף. The tzaddik, we'll do the other way around, the wicked person, if he goes first to the judge, he can say, that person said this and that, and he did this and that, and whoa, wait before you're starting the trial, before the other one is there. The tzaddik says, no, let's do it together. The Rasha wants to come a little bit earlier. The same way is the Yetzer Hara. He's Rasha, he's wicked, and he's naked. So he comes way before, so he has what to already prosecute and say way before the Yetzer HaTov comes. Kamadat Amar, as we have already said, V'hanachash haya arum, and the serpent was naked. That's what it says in the book of Bereshit, right in the beginning. The third chapter, with the encounter of Adam and the snake and Chava. It says, V'hanachash haya arum, the snake was naked. What do you mean it was naked? What, he didn't wear clothes? What kind of a definition is that in the Torah? It says the snake was naked, the serpent was naked, meaning this is the Yetzer Hara. Naked, not because naked from clothes. Rather, arum, naked in Hebrew is arum. And somebody who's very tricky is called arumumi. Somebody very tricky. So arum comes from the word arumumi, tricky. The Nachash, the Yetzer Hara, he's not fighting fair. Not too long ago, somebody did something, and somebody says, why don't you take that person to the Beit Din, to the Jewish court? And I said, the Jewish court is for people who are God-fearing. If the person is a God-fearing person, he wouldn't do what he did. So what's the point of taking him to the Beit Din? Beit Din is for God-fearing people. When you come and you look at the rabbi is the judge, you come and say the truth and nothing but the truth, because you know that right now the heavenly court is looking at you from above. That's what happens when you order a Beit Din, a Din Torah. You have 3 dayanim, it sometimes can be 1 dayan, but the second that is going on a Din Torah, simultaneously it's going up in Shemaim. So you dare to lie? I've been once called to a Din Torah by a person that loves the holiday of Purim, so every day he was dressed as a Jewish chassid, and he loved the costume very much, and he was a very, I don't even know, I don't know how to call it. Was a very extremely honest landlord. They did anything that can go wrong, that can do wrong, we did. And then at the end, he took me to the Din Torah. So when we talked in front of the rabbi, and he started telling all this lie after lie after lie, and I was like, what's going on here? The guy's lying. Come on, man, your honor, your rabbi, he's lying. I'm sorry. I said to the rabbi, I'm out. I'm not going to participate. This is a circus. Because he comes to a Din Torah and he's lying. And when I went into the court, the Jewish court, they made me sign that after this encounter, I'm not going to go to civil court. So I said, no, whoa. Now he's coming and lying. It was all corrupt at the end of the day. Now you made me sign that I can't go to a civil court. The guy's a liar, a thief. You know what they did? That the guy, he charged me every month. I was there for 3 years. This is the Hasidic guy. Charged me for electricity every month. After 3 years, I get an electricity bill from the electricity company of like $13,000. And I was like, but I paid the landlord. He's like, you didn't pay me. I didn't pay you? I paid? No, that wasn't with rent. There was no, what the guy did, and I was like, I was just stunned, sitting there in front of the rabbi and saying, that's a Din Torah? This is a Jewish court? The guy's a liar. He's a thief. He's a cheat. If I would take him to civil court, I would sue him, for thousands of dollars. So now when I had some type of encounter, somebody said, take him to a Din Torah. I said, him? Din Torah, you take somebody that is a God-fearing person. And I said, if he was God-fearing, he wouldn't do that. So what's the point of taking him to a Din Torah? He's going to lie there, he's going to cheat there. Come on. So same thing here. When you have a legit argument, listen, we all argue. There's no such a thing. People hire another person, the person doesn't do what he's supposed to do. There's constantly arguments all day long. I mean, go to the Beit Din here, you'll see all day long there's cases. But a person who's God-fearing says, okay, listen, we have a disagreement between us. Let's go to a judge that, listen, I'm not here to get you. That's a God-fearing person. I'm not here with revenge. I'm going to show you now. But the Yetzer Hara says, oh yeah, you're taking me to court? I'm going to go way before, so I can already present the case before you even enter the courtroom. So now how do you look? You come an hour later, 2 hours later, you can present the case already. Oh, there you already presented. So this is a metaphor to understand the method of the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara comes when you're born. He has 13 years to feed you. Feed you. Now comes the Yetzer Tov, all happy in his bar mitzvah, got a few candies, throw at him. He was happy, now on bar mitzvah, right away. The guy's already there, the Yetzer Hara is already there for 13 years. So this is called wicked and naked. Who was called naked? The serpent. And again, not naked from clothes, rather the word in Hebrew arum, which is naked, means arumumi, sneaky. Sneaky and tricky and definitely not honest. Even though you see, very funny, that most of the snakes, they go like that. This means also somebody who's sneaky goes like crooked. But nevertheless, there are snakes that they go straight. But nevertheless, you see the power of the snake. Nevertheless, about the snake, what does it say? He comes first, the Yetzer Hara, he dwells on the person till the good friend comes in, the Yetzer Tov comes in, 13 years. Wow, the guy already has a superiority. And since he comes much first, and he's feeding you for 13 years, then, when the Yetzer Tov comes already, the person is already so corrupt by the Yetzer Hara, he can't even lift his head up straight to listen to the Yetzer Tov, what the Yetzer Tov has to say. And it seems to the person that everything that the Yetzer Tov is coming to put on you, to tell you, it's like he's putting on you all the weight of the world. What, are you telling me now not to lie? Are you out of your mind? I lied for the last 10 years. It worked perfectly. And you tell me not to cheat and not to steal and not to insult somebody? It worked very good in the last 10 years. What are you coming and telling me? Since this wicked one, the Yetzer Hara, who's also naked, called Yetzer Hara, came way before him. And for that Shlomo HaMelech said in his wisdom, v'chochmat hamisken, and the wisdom of the poor person, which is the Yetzer HaTov, bzuya udvarav enam nishmaim. It sounds to you like, I don't want to hear what you have to say. What, you're coming to me now with this honesty thing? And with this courteous thing, and being polite, and it doesn't sound nice to my ear. And the reason for that, beginda akdim achara. Why? Because the Yetzer Hara came already and spit his poison so many years that when the truth comes, you don't want to hear it. You don't even accept it. And you really see it in a day-to-day life, that people who are snakes and cheats, and they know they're wrong, they'll go out way before you come to protect yourself. They go out already and spit the poison that already trashed everything. Now the truth comes, then 90% already don't want to hear the truth because I already heard what the other one says. That's why you want to be smart. You become you don't listen very quickly to every word that comes out of people's mouth. Nevertheless, he continues and he says, "Va'alda." Therefore, kol dayana dekabel mibarnash mila ad delata yechavre. Therefore, every person is like a dayan, like a judge. You are a judge. המקבל דברי טענותיו של אדם עד שלא יבוא חברו בעל דינו. You are a judge. When somebody comes and tells you something, so and so did this and that. And in this moment, you are a judge. Now you have the opportunity to accept what that person says before the other one comes and presents his situation, and to be also a corrupt judge, or not. כאילו מקבל עליה תאווה אחר למהמנותה. And he says here, well, look at that. He says here that if somebody comes to you and tells you something, and you are the dayan, you are the judge, but you accept what that person says. Sometimes somebody will come and tell you, listen, so-and-so did this and that. You say, okay, I'm not going to say yes, I'm not going to say no. Let me call so-and-so. Let me hear what he has to say. Let me ask a few people if it's true. I'm not buying what you're telling me just like that. Let me see. This is a judge. Now don't think for a second you're not a judge. Every day you're a judge 20 times. But he says here, a person that does that just takes the first testimony, so to say, before the other one has what to say, it's like as if he's accepting on himself another God. To believe this guy and not this guy, and you serve this guy. Obviously he's hinting here about a lot of Lashon Hara and slandering. That's why, our sages say that the one who talks Lashon Hara is not the only one who gets punished. The one who receives the Lashon Hara is just as guilty. That's why I told you the other day, Rambam, in the book of, I don't know if to call it science, but Sefer Hamada, he says there that there are 3 sins that a person will do. He will get punished in this world, completely finish the punishment in this world, and he lost his world to come. Idol worship, forbidden relations, and bloodshed. The 3 famous sins, what Adam HaRishon did, we spoke about it yesterday, the sins that destroyed the Beit HaMikdash. But then he adds after that, and Lashon Hara keneged kulam. Lashon Hara is worse than all 3 of them together. So a person speaks Lashon Hara, not only he gets punished in this world, he lost his Olam Haba. You can say goodbye to the Olam Haba. Well, it doesn't matter, you can already take off the costume and go to the beach, because you lost your Olam Haba. So, and that's why the Rambam says it's keneged kulam, because here he says, a person who accepts the Lashon Hara is like idol worship, because you believe that person. You didn't even judge anything. You didn't even listen to the other one. Why are you accepting from this guy what he says? He says, okay, let me be a judge for myself. But after that, the other one comes and explains what he has to say. The right judge, and you don't have to be a dayan for that. You judge, it's also your judgment. You're saying, okay, you say A, let me see what he says. Then he says B, okay, let me hear both. And then, vayachkor et divreim, and you ask for what they have to say. V'da hu orach devarnash zaka. And that's the way of a righteous person. You don't buy everything you tell me. Everything you're going to come and tell me, you're just going to buy that. You know, it says here, Zehu der shel ish tzaddik. That's the way of a righteous person. I don't buy what you say. Let me talk to the person number 2. Deha barnash zaka dehu. Because a person that is a tzaddik, that goes in a path of righteousness, de la hemin lehu rasha arum de yetzer hara. The person who walks in the path of righteousness doesn't believe to that wicked one, that naked one, the yetzer hara. I think I believe everything that you tell me. Ad yete chavre, till comes the friend, the ihu yetzer tov, the yetzer tov, uveginda bnei nasha inun kashli ne'alma de'ate. And that's why when people believe the yetzer hara, they're failing and losing their olam haba. And mitam ze, and from that reason, zera Yisrael mechanchim et bnei mikatnutam el mitzvot. Therefore, in the Jewish faith, we teach our kids from their very, very young to do mitzvot. You know, a boy doesn't have to put tzitzit on. A boy doesn't have to do anything. He's patur for mitzvot. He's exempt. But you see, little boys, they wear a yarmulke and a tzitzit, and they come to pray, and they do the Birkat HaMazon, Kirat Shema Lamita. Why do that when he's 3 years old? My kids, when they're already 2 or 3 years old, they know how to talk. I teach them how to say Shema. So it becomes already part of their nature. I know a lot of parents who says, listen, the boy is not obligated. You know that some people even go by that the kids don't have to really be so particular with the meat and dairy. And some people say, okay, till the age of 6 or 7, the kid doesn't really need to be particular with meat and dairy. Like, you know, you have a young child, the second that he starts walking, you put tzitzit on him, that he is used to it already. He knows how to say a few words, you teach him, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. That it's becoming already his nature. So when he comes to become a bar mitzvah, it's not foreign to him. A few months ago, we had a family that we hosted, that the whole family is converting. And the mother was like on fire. You know, she was so like excited from everything. And my wife kept telling her, you know, it's amazing that you're excited, but you know that right now this excitement, there's still no resistance because you still don't have your yetzer hara yet. You know, once you get converted, the yetzer hara custom-made comes to you. So, and I told her, the yetzer hara, you walk out of the mikveh, the yetzer hara will give you the towel. And he helps you wipe the water, and right away gives you your first slap into your face. So don't, so she told me, why are you telling me this? So I told her, listen, you're probably going to go for your conversion in about a year. Now you already start doing almost everything. Don't say when I'm going to get converted, I'll stop going to regular restaurants. Now you start going only to kosher restaurants. Now you start dressing modest. Now you start doing everything. Why? What's the point? You go out of the mikveh, now you're going to have to start over. What's going to happen? The yetzer hara comes to you, I'm not joking. He gives you the towel. So get used to it already. Get used to following everything what the Torah says. A few things you're not allowed to do as a non-Jew, but the majority already, get used to it already. Therefore, he says here, this is what we follow. He says, Zera Israel, the young children of the nation of Israel, mechanchim et benehem, we educate our kids mikatnutam, since they're little, very little, el mitzvot, to do mitzvot. Why? Ad shelo yagilu zman chiyuvam. Even though they're not even obligated, but let them get used to it. Sheyu murgalim bekach, that they'll be used to the mitzvot, and it's not going to be something new to them. Uvevo'o yetzer hatov, yimtza mechaven l'shivto, machon l'shivto. When the yetzer tov comes, he already feels at home. The child is wearing already tzitzit since he's 3 years old. Doesn't have to wait till bar mitzvah. And then he continues and he says, "Aval, but hahu zaka deu dachi lemari." That's a tzaddik, and he's not talking about Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. He's talking about a person that goes in a path of righteousness. And who is the person who is righteous? Sheyareh mikono, that he's fearing his master. If you don't fear Shem, sorry to tell you, you're far away from being anything that has to do with a servant of God. That's why it blows my mind when I see people that they behave in a certain way, that what the Torah tells you, but then they do things, and I'm like, there's zero fear here from Hashem. Now, how can you serve God if you don't fear Him? So, the Mishnah says, first you have to have fear, then you have to have love. We're not going to get now to the whole idea between the fear and the love, but nevertheless, you have to have fear of Hashem.
Doing what sorts of things are you talking about?
Excuse me?
Doing what you say people do things that...
If you want me to be more specific, then there are people who are dressed like me, and they wear a tzitzit all day long, and a beard, and they come 3 times a day to pray, and they give charity, and they learn Torah, and they do many things, and at the same time they cheat on their wives, or say lashon hara, or slander other people, or do many other things. And like, where's your fear? I mean, then it means all this is fear. Yeah, that's the ones I like the most, that I see them in the mikveh.
Yeah.
You go to the mikveh, you think that the mikveh is going to help with all the junk that comes out of your mouth? Go to the beach, it's better over there for you. So that's what blows my mind when I see sometimes people, I don't know, I'm scared out of my mind from Hashem. Every word that comes out of my mouth, every action, I'm like, this is, somebody's looking at me. There's like 1,700 cameras all around, and one day, you come and give an account. If you wake up in the morning and you're saying, I'm recorded right now. I am recorded from all directions, my thoughts, my speech, my emotions. One time they're going to show it to you. I'm telling you my personal experience. I'm very disappointed for most of the observant people. So when I came to the observant world, I had big hopes. I came to different communities. Everybody looked so busy and very holy, and then very quickly I found out that guy's a thief, this guy's a cheat, this guy cheats on his wife, this guy slanders all day long, this guy cheats in business. And I was like, what's going on here? What's going on here? Why are you wearing the costume? Purim is only in Adar. It's now Tammuz. What are you doing? So I personally got very disappointed. And the reality is, I know many people are trying to kind of sugarcoat the reality, but I'm sure you all see it with your own eyes, and nobody is willing to say, no, you're right, he's right. But the reality is that, what's the proof to that? That 95% of our nation is not observant. Because the secular people are looking at the observant people saying, this? I'm not going to do this. That's how I grew up. I grew up with the worst opinion about the observant people. I'm not saying everybody's bad. I'm just saying, for me, it's mind-boggling to see a person that wakes up at 6 o'clock in the morning to run to the shul and puts a tefillin and everything. And then you go and you slander and you lie and you cheat, and it doesn't resonate well with my mind. Because if you fear God, then how can you go against God? And with severe things. I'm not talking right now that you were late to the minyan 3 minutes. Or you spoke when your tefillin is on your head. Okay, no, But you're doing things that it's for me, I don't know, it doesn't sit well in my mind. It's very hard for me. That's why when I see something like this, right away the meter of judgmental, of yirat shamayim, of God-fearing, says the person is not a God-fearing person. If a person is God-fearing, why would you do such a thing? But nevertheless, we're not going to start analyzing it, but the reality is, the sad reality is that the truth has to be addressed. We can't all be like, he's trying hard. So, I have a very good friend who is probably much more observant than many other people that we see with the black and white, but he doesn't walk with a yarmulke, and he doesn't walk with tzitzit. And I was telling him, why don't you want to wear tzitzit? He's like, what? I don't have to go with tzitzit all day long. I'm not obligated to wearing tzitzit. I'm obligated to wearing tzitzit when I have 4-cornered garment. I put in the morning talit, I say my bracha, and that's it. And the reason, I told him, but you're missing the mitzvah. He's like, you're right, I might be gaining the mitzvah of wearing tzitzit all day long, but you know what I lose out? All day long I fail in chilul Hashem. All day long I fail in desecrating the name of Hashem. Desecrating the name of Hashem is one of the worst sins a person can do in this world. It's so bad you can't even do tshuva in the world for this. Can't do tshuva for chilul Hashem in this world. Only your death is an atonement for the sin of chilul Hashem. Now, he says, and he rightfully says that, if I walk in the street and I wear tzitzit, and I look like an observant person, but then I say a false word, he says, listen, every now and then I say not a nice word, this word, that word, he's like, that's chilul Hashem. And what if I get upset at somebody and I lose my temper? That's chilul Hashem. And what if I don't behave the right way? That's chilul Hashem. I'd rather not to get the mitzvah of tzitzit and to do chilul Hashem. I don't want people looking at me. When I walk in the street, you know how many eyes are looking at me? Whatever amount of eyes are on the street, that's the amount of eyes are looking at me. And if chas v'shalom, I will have some saliva in my mouth and I'll go on the floor, 500 eyes. Look at the rabbi. He spit on the floor. Look at him. What's that behavior? Look at the Jew. So I know I'm dissected. I'm everywhere I go, everybody's looking, just waiting for me to say something. So every word, every action has to be calculated. If not, that's mamash chilul Hashem. So again, not judging anybody, but I also don't like when the truth is being swept under the rug. And things have to be addressed. And when you learn to get your act together, so to say, is when the truth is right in front of your face. So, when you're looking in the mirror and you're scared of what you see, then either you don't want to look at the mirror ever again, or you're saying, let me comb the hair. I want to look normal. Nevertheless, he says here, the person that is called a tzaddik, going in the path of righteousness, he is a person that fears his master. Kama bishin savil ve'ayalma begin dal leihemin ve'la ishtataf be'u yetzer hara. How much bad things that this person and sorrow has to suffer in this world, just not to believe and not to attach yourself to the yetzer hara. Can you imagine how much suffering you have to go through? Because the yetzer hara tells you, hey, you can do this right now, it's fine. And it's suffering not to do whatever you want. And how much sorrow and how much arguments and contradictions and so forth. But as long as you don't believe the yetzer hara, and as long as you don't get attached to him. Saying in other words, שצריך להילחם איתו בכמה מיני מלחמות וניסיונות. Saying in other words that I have to fight the yetzer hara with so many types of battles, so many types of wars, and needless to say, so many types of challenges. מקודש הבריחו, שזיבלה מכולהו. But the Kadosh Baruch Hu, if you fear Hashem and you believe, Hashem will save you from all these terrible things and all these tzarot. Tzarot is like tzurus. How do you say? Suffering. Suffering will be more, tzarot is problems or difficulties and so forth. Hadahu dichtiv, as it says, this can be found in the book of Tehillim, chapter 34, Rabot Raot Tzadik. There are many evil and bad things that the tzaddik has to experience. Umekulam yatzilenu Adonai. And from all of them, Hashem will save him. But you have to believe and fear Hashem. If not Hashem, why would he save you? And he says, what does David HaMelech says? Rabot Raot La Tzadik. Now basically, it should have said, Rabot Raot La Tzadik. Many evil and problems to the tzaddik. But it says Rabot Raot Tzadik. It doesn't say that. But what do we understand from that? Means that the evil things and the bad things that happened is part of my portion. That I have to go through things that are not so pleasant. And he asks on his own question. And if so, מה זה שמסיים ומכולם אצלנו השם? So why, if it's my portion, if I have to go through some type of suffering, some type of a challenge, some type of pain or whatever it is, and you're saying that's part of my portion, so why does it finish the verse by saying, and Hashem will save you from all of them? Meaning, פירוש שיצילנו שלא יבואו אליו. The salvation, the saving of Hashem, that these nisyonot, these challenges should not even come to you. Remember, that should be fresh in your mind. Yom Kippur was only 2 months ago. And Yom Kippur, we were explaining that on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah is not only decided basic things like we were chanting at the time of Rosh Hashanah. Who's going to be rich? Who's going to be poor? Who's going to die? Who's going to live? Who's going to get married? Who's going to get divorced? You know what else is decided on Rosh Hashanah? Is how much challenges you're going to have this coming year, and what are going to be the challenges. The challenges, I'm sure you noticed that some years the year was a little bit smoother, and some years the challenges, they don't stop coming. On Rosh Hashanah it's decided how much challenges you're going to get and what are going to be the challenges. Now, if the person is really trying and walking on the path of righteousness, he's able to annul these challenges. This one will annul, this one is cancelled. So it says here, when he says Rabot Raot Tzadik, many bad things, we'll call it now challenges or difficulties, then you have a lot on your record. Mikulam yatzilenu Hashem, if you do the right, if you carry yourself the right way, Hashem will remove a lot of these challenges. You don't know what's now on your portfolio. Now you're walking around the streets, everything is good, you're whistling in the morning, life is good, and then you get that annoying phone call. Well, then you come home and you get those letters, you know, with it says warning or last notification, last notice. You know those letters that you feel your stomach now moving up and down. The last notice they're gonna throw me out. So sometimes you wake up in the morning, you're in a good mood, you're smiling, and then you get this phone call or this letter or something, or somebody chas v'shalom bumps into your car, whatever. So you don't know what's waiting, what's coming up. So, but nevertheless, if a person goes in the path of righteousness, he can remove them. Meaning, why does it say "V'Hashem yatzilenu mikulam"? Sheyatzilenu shelo yavou elav. Hashem will save you, that they're not going to even come to you. Ela, but rabot ra'ot tzaddik. It says, but many problems is for the tzaddik. Meaning, שמצד עצמו יש לו רעות וצער ללחום ולכבוש את יצרו. But nevertheless, that's part of the challenge. There's going to be a lot of challenges, a lot of difficulties, and that's the evil and the sorrow that I have to fight in order to conquer my Yetzer Hara. And sometimes people think the Yetzer Hara is only going to come and tell you, steal. And that's a great Shabbat. Don't eat that ham and cheese sandwich. The Yetzer Hara, that doesn't always go with you straightforward. The Yetzer Hara is going to bring you into a situation that the test here is how you react. If you react with anger, or you react with violence, or you react with, you know what, you hurt me, I'm going to put you down in front of everybody. I'm going to humiliate you in front of everybody. The Etzel is not going to come straight forward and tell you desecrate Shabbat. Because if you're observing Shabbat, he's not going to try that territory. He says, okay, this guy's observing Shabbat, he will never desecrate the Shabbat. You think the Etzel comes to you in the middle of Shabbat and tells you, turn the light on. Turn the light on. No, because he says, he's not going to turn the light on. But you know how the Etzel is going to come? He's going to manipulate the situation that you lose your temper. Now, losing the temper and you experience or you express anger, that's already you passing certain line. Why? Because then you can curse, and then you can say bad things, and then you can threaten, and chas v'shalom can come to lashon hara and violence. And so that's you know, in Hebrew we say he waits for you in the curve. In Hebrew we say mechake basivuv. You know why? Because in the curve it's easy to lose control. You're flying 200 kilometers an hour on a highway, fine, it's a straight highway, no problem. You know when you can lose control? When you're going into a sharp curve. So that's he waits in the curve. And then, you know, all he needs to do is a little push and you lose the balance like that. I don't care how long your beard is. Somebody pushes a certain button, wow, right away the anger comes out. You know, on the outside everybody looks very calm. You walk into the shul, everybody's smiling and talk soft. Go to their home for 2 days. Let's see. You'll see how much anger is going on there. How much screaming. The child moves something. Ah! You know, your wife does something. So on the outside, we're very fake. So the Yetzer Hara, again, he's a snake. He comes in all sorts of tricky ways. He knows your weaknesses. He knows where he can really corner you. So don't think the Yetzer Hara is going to come and tell you right on the spot, do this sin. Yetzer Hara is smart. But nevertheless, the challenge, a lot of the times the challenge is, we spoke about it so many times, sometimes the service of Hashem is not if I'm going to steal or not, is if I'm going to hold anger in me, if I'm going to be forgiving, if I'm going to have any type of emotions. This is called Tikkun Amidot. I can be angry, I can be quick to judge. You know, the Yetzer Hara is going to poke you all the time. If you're a very judgmental individual, he's constantly going to throw at you these tests. If you're going to be judgmental to the situation, or you're going to not. How the Mishnah says, "V'koldan adam lekaf zchut." Always judge a person favorably. So the Yetzer Hara, he knows how to manipulate the situation that he brings the worst out of you. Nevertheless, this is part of the sorrow and the challenges that we have to go to. But Hashem wants you to overpower your Yetzer Hara. Begin the kulcha brichu it arebe. Since the Kadosh Baruch, Hashem, He desires that you will win the Yetzer Hara. Who do you think sends the Yetzer Hara, by the way? The Kadosh Baruch sends the Yetzer Hara. Hashem sends the Yetzer Hara because He wants you to be provoked. He wants you to work on yourself. Can you imagine if we didn't have a Yetzer Hara? We would be like couch potatoes. We wouldn't do nothing all day long. We wouldn't even grow spiritually, emotionally, physically, anything. The Yetzer Hara is a power of resistance. It's like a machine, like in a gym. Imagine you're going to the best gym in the city. You paid hundreds of dollars. You go to the gym and you You just sit. There's enough, something's going to happen. Even if all the equipment there is worth millions of dollars, you need to push and to pull and to push and to lift and to and if there's no weight, there's no resistance, you don't doing anything. The Yetzer Hara is the power of resistance. So Hashem sends the Yetzer Hara. But nevertheless, the Shem has a great desire for you to overpower the Yetzer Hara. I gave once an analogy that, you know how sometimes you go to these places, I don't know how they call it, Baruch Hashem, that's something I don't have on my resume, but some people have a very strong weakness to gambling. Not too long ago, I was hosted in some community, and I was there for Shabbat. There was a Shabbaton, lectures and so forth. Very, very wealthy community. And everybody came to me quietly, listen, I have a problem I want to discuss with you. Now, that came after I was hosted in a different community, that everybody came to whisper in my ear that they have to discuss with me something, and Hashem Yerachem, an observant community, they're all cheating on each other. They all came to me. I must look like the Kotel, maybe I look like a stone. Everybody comes to talk to me. So I was heartbroken and traumatized by one community that they're all cheating on each other. He's cheating on her, she's cheating with him. I was like, my gosh, what's going on here? I was able to sit. I was invited to, there was a Shabbat after the services, the Kiddush, and I'm looking, I'm like, oh my God, he's with him, she's with her, she's with him, and I'm like, and then everybody's smiling, and you know, and I'm seeing, and him with him, and it was traumatizing. And this is a religious community. So the following Shabbat, I went to another community, and they're all observant, very, very wealthy community. And everybody comes and whispers, Rabbi, I need to talk to you about something, I have a problem. And I was like, now, the same? But then in that community, I have a completely different problem. Everybody was into gambling. Everybody. And one guy, the one who hosted me, told me, I have a serious problem with gambling. I says, what's the Yetzer Hara here? I can understand drugs, alcohol, women, Vegas. Gambling? Well, you have to be a complete idiot to put your money and so I told him, okay, so what's the problem? Wait, hold, before you give comments. And so I told him, what do you gamble on? What do you go to Atlantic City? He's like, no, that's no rush there. We gamble on horses, boxing, sports. And I was like, okay, so so what's the big deal if you go and put just $100? For the fun. He says, $100? There's no rush in $100. 50,000. Told him 50,000, you idiot. 50,000. And he tells me sometimes, they go to the horses, and he's like, sometimes you can make 300,000 just like that. And I was like, you morons, and then you lose 700,000. Yeah. So I'm like, I have an idea for you. Why don't you come once to my yeshiva? You can gamble on whenever you want. You can leave your 700,000 here. I'll give you can gamble on whatever you want. Kind of a moron and gambling, and I can't. That's something I can't relate with. And I understand there's a rush, there's an excitement. But come on, your money. But nevertheless, why am I saying all this? Actually, I don't remember even why I was saying all this. But nevertheless, why am I saying all this? So, I was trying to, when somebody comes to me with a problem, then I have to relate with what the person is saying to me. You know that Moshe Rabbeinu, yesterday we spoke about it, that we don't have history about Moshe Rabbeinu. We know that he was born, 3 months later he was put in the bassinet, in the basket. Then, whoop, suddenly he's 18 years old, just like that. And then the whole story with the Datan of Aviram, he buries the Egyptians, kills him. Right away he goes to Pharaoh's house. Pharaoh tries to kill him and he runs away. And from 18 to 80, where's Moshe Rabbeinu? We just spent now 3 parashot on Yaakov. I almost know his underwear size. Moshe Rabbeinu, I don't know nothing. So that's why I said yesterday, we don't know. The Torah is not a history book. But we know that Moshe Rabbeinu was in many different places. Moshe Rabbeinu was a murderer. He sat in jail. He was a king of the land of Cush for 10 years. But Moshe Rabbeinu, what was his greatness? And that's where you see the greatness of many other great tzaddikim in different generations. Moshe Rabbeinu had to relate with everything that says in the Torah. A great tzaddik, a great leader has to relate with everything. So just imagine that Moshe Rabbeinu is writing the Torah and Hashem tells him, Lo tirtzach, don't commit murder. Now Moshe Rabbeinu is writing the words, Lo tirtzach. In his mind, he has to relate with all the types of murders. Murdering with a knife, murdering with a gun, murdering with an axe, murdering with throwing somebody off the window. He has to picture in his mind all the types of murders and to relate with it, what will cause a person to commit this murder. That's Moshe Rabbeinu. Then it says, Lo tinaf, don't commit adultery. Moshe in his mind has to imagine every type of adulteries. I don't want to get into details with that, what he has to imagine. So there's a great story that, I believe it was the son of the Balatanya, that once somebody came to him to a personal encounter, to a meeting, and within 3 seconds he threw the person out of the room and locked the room, and what's going on with the Rebbe? Was he throwing out an innocent person? That's not acceptable. He locks the door, and for 3 days he didn't come out of the room. Not eating, no sleeping, no nothing. And they thought, what's going on with our rabbi? He lost it. 3 days later, he opens up, tells his secretary, call the person back again. He comes in, they sit together for a whole hour, and the person goes out. Then his students came and told him, what was going on here? You threw the person out of the room. Now we didn't see you for 3 days. What's going on? He says, the person came to me with such a horrible sin, and he asked me for a rectification. What do I need to do a rectification for the sin? And excuse my, not the language, but what was the sin? The person had marital relations with a dead corpse. There's some type of a name for that in English. How? Necrophilia. Okay. So the man came into the tzaddik, to the rabbi, to tell him, I need a tikkun. The rabbi said, I don't know how to relate with such a sin. So he threw him out. It took him 3 days, fasting, praying, meditating, to get to the depth of his soul, to relate with such a type of a sin, with no feelings of judgmental, and with not looking at the person and throwing up at him. And then after meditating for 3 days, without eating, without sleeping, without nothing, that he could relate to that, he called the person back and says, okay, now I can look at you eye to eye, not judging you. This is the tikkun, this is the rectification you need to do. This was Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu had to relate with anything that it says in the Torah, to relate with it. Now imagine now somebody comes and tells you, my past is very bad, I used to be addicted to drugs, and I had to rob people, and one time I did this, and one time I did that, and you know what? Most people will be like, thank you, no, I don't want you to marry my daughter, and I don't want you to sit next to me in shul, and that's how we are. We're very judgmental. But the point is that the greater the tzaddik is, hold on, I know you have a lot of questions. The greater the tzaddik is, that I don't look at another person and I judge that person. So going back to the example that I was trying to give, so we can finish with the gambling. So imagine now the excitement that you have your horse, and everybody's sitting in the room, and you bet on number 7, and he's betting on number 6, and you're holding your money and your tickets, and the horse is, and you're like, come on, you can do it, and the excitement in the room, and everybody's, and the first horse is, passing, and the second horse, and you're like, come on, you can do it. Just imagine the rush and the action, and then your horse takes the head, and he wins. I won! You're hugging everybody. Just imagine the scene. So I told this friend of mine, what do you think happens in Shamayim all day long? Don't you think they're putting bets on you on Shamayim? All day long, they're putting bets on you. Now, imagine this scene. You are walking in the street. And you're walking to yourself. Nice day, beautiful sun. You're just walking in the street. In Shamayim, they're planning it all out. There's an architect there saying, okay, in about 2 minutes, that woman with the red dress will cross right over there. And now, let's put your bets, gentlemen. All the angels are coming. Is he going to make it, or is he not going to make it? Half of the angels says, no chance. He's not going to make it. He's going to look at her, and right away he's going to have an impure thought. The other ones are saying, no. I'm betting on him. He's going to make it. And then this clock starts running down. 1 minute and 59 seconds. 1 minute and 58 seconds. And imagine the satellite shot from above. And you're walking. You don't even know. There's danger. around the corner. And in Shamayim, they knew, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? I'm adding another 1,000. And they're all betting on you. He's going to lose. No, he's going to make it. He's going to lose. And then the moment, 10 seconds, 9 seconds, suddenly in your eye, you see that red dress. Like a bull that sees the red. This is the biggest joke because bulls are colorblinded. They don't see the red. They just see the movement. But nevertheless, in the corner of your eye, you see that red dress and you turn your head around and then you're like, no. Don't go after your eyes and after your heart, and you move your head and you're taking a deep breath and you're biting your lips. I'm not going to look in the wrong direction. And in Shamayim, he made it! He made it! And opening champagne bottles, 4th of July, he made it! And the other ones are like, that's what's going on in Shamayim every second of your life. There's a bunch of angels putting bets on you he's going to make it, and there's a bunch of angels saying he's not going to make it. And you think that Hashem is not in that room putting bets? He's going to make it. No, he's not going to make it. He's going to make it. Not going to make it. Just imagine that every second of the day there are bets on you in Shamayim, if you're going to make it or if you're not going to make it. So he says here, and we'll go a little bit back, Begin the kucha brichu, it arebe, the Kadosh Baruch Hu has the desire that you will fight. I'm going to put this desire, this lust, this something in front of you. Fight! Oh, yeah, right away, jump on what you have. Fight! And the Kadosh Baruch Hu is like, the trainer is sitting in behind the ring. Give him the right, move to the right. The guys are screaming in the back. The Kadosh Baruch Hu is fight, fight. What are you? What did I give you a brain for? Kadosh Baruch Hu wants you to overpower the desire now, because the Yetzer Hara is going to tell you, look over there, say this, do that, take here. And he's whispering in your ear, and Hashem is putting bets on you. Don't fight your Yetzer Hara. Ubegin kach, and because of that, Kudsha Brichu, the Kadosh Baruch Hu, the Master of the universe, Itrei behu barnash. He wants the person to overpower and win, v'shazivle, and he makes him win. He saves him. Mikola behai alma, from all these bad things and evil things in the world. Be'alma deate, in this world. Zaka achulke, and he also saves him for the olam haba. Because the Kadosh Baruch Hu so much wants you to win. He puts a challenge in front of you, and he's saying, please win. Who do you think puts the challenges in front of us? And I just gave one example with the red dress, and you all relate with it, but there's everything. There's these challenges 100 times a day. And the Kadosh Baruch Hu plants the challenge. He's the architect. Now he says, now, go, my son, let's see if you fight. Let's see how strong you can be. And every day he turns the volume a little bit stronger, see how much you're going to fight. And the Kadosh Baruch Hu is putting money. He's going to make it. But nevertheless, the Kadosh Baruch Hu wants you so much to win, so he saves you. Not only from these challenges in this world, also from the punishment in the world above. That's why it says, Umekulam yetzilenu Hashem. And from all these challenges, Hashem will save you. Ve'ashrei chelko, and happy is the one who walks on the path of righteousness, that the Kadosh Baruch Hu will save him. Now, if you have on your back a picky bag or a bag full of sins, the challenges are going to be thrown at you in dozens. But when you choose to go on the path of righteousness, Hashem says, oh, that's what I like. I'm going to remove all these challenges from you. Suddenly you see that life is a little bit easier. There's not so much challenges in all the departments. So he gives us here a great tip. And he tells us, don't think for 1 second that the challenges are somehow, you accepted these challenges, not necessarily willingly, but on Rosh Hashanah, that was given to you. It's almost like, if you've ever been into the military, you can relate, that you come and the commander tells you, this is your job, this is your job. Again. So the Kadosh Baruch Hu tells you, this year, 5,779, this is going to be your challenges. This is going to be my challenges. There's like 4,000 challenges here. Don't worry, my dear son. Go on the path of righteousness. I will remove a lot of them. Go on the other path, they're going to come to you in pairs. They're going to be coming all day long, and then I can't really save you. You're here by yourself. So we have to choose who to listen to. You constantly have the battle of the Yetzer Tov, Yetzer Hara, constantly. Now, saying is easy. What's the tool that I can use here? He tells us, the person that fears his master. Who's the person that will walk on this path of righteousness? Sheyareh mikono. Fear your master. You fear your master, you win Hashem's heart. You don't fear him, you think like he doesn't exist, I don't care. Well, you created another problem in your existence. If you don't have God-fearing, Shem will never be on your side. If you show and you prove to the Kadosh Baruch Hu, you fear him, and it doesn't mean that you're shaking from fear. Fear means, fear in Hebrew says yirah. Yirah means an awe. You're so great, Hashem. Who am I? I'm just a little human being. I'm not talking about that I'm afraid of being beat up with a whip. But nevertheless, that's also good fear. When people are afraid, well, they get a little slap on their face. If you don't get a little slap on your face or a strong slap, you'll never fear. So he tells us, you want the Kadosh Baruch Hu to remove all these challenges from your record? Fear him. Very simple. Just put in your arsenal the fear. And you know what way starts the fear? That you concentrate on little things. If you don't fear Hashem in little things, you'll never fear Hashem in big things. And sometimes it's little things. Sometimes how you dress. Most people, they get dressed in the room naked. They're walking around naked in the room. Master of the universe is in front of you. Why are you walking like that? Little kids sometimes, they get dressed, they walk around without a shirt, or sometimes they go out of the shower naked. Why? Hashem is looking at you. Tell my kids, you think Hashem wants to see your tuchus? Get dressed in the bathroom. Have respect. Hashem is looking at you. Now when you're concentrating on little things, and a lot of people say, who cares? What do you mean, who cares? The Master of the universe is looking at you. You're walking with your body all exposed. That's disrespect to the Master of the universe. He's everywhere. So when you work on yourself, Hashem is looking at me. I will get dressed in the bathroom in a modest way. And if I don't have a bathroom, I'll get dressed under the cover. This is one example out of many. The point I'm trying to say is that you fear Hashem with something small. When the big things come, you fear Hashem also. And if you don't fear Hashem in small things, you're brushing it off. Trust me, you're not going to fear Hashem also in big things. רבי חנניה בן הקשיא אומר, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל, לפיכך הרבה להם תורה ומצוות שנאמר, אדוני חפץ למען צדקו, יגדיל תורה ויאדיר.